Hello, hello, and welcome back, everybody, to the reading room. I am Mark Reed. I have that pleasure, and I am very tired. It is so good to see you all. Today is Friday. By Friday, it might be Thursday night for you. Don't forget, I am in the future to some people. It's Fundamentalist Fails time, and I found. Actually, good morning, Left-Handed Jedi. Actually, I found on coming in just a fantastic question from Pinworm, and I got to read this out. How far in the future will it be until current people are dug up and examined by archaeologists? What's the cutoff between creepy and science? And that's a good question, right? How long does it have to be before we're considered to be sort of some kind of fossil or some kind of in the past species? What's really interesting, though, I mean, that's a great question. 1K years, yeah, 1,000 sounds pretty good. But we still have sort of, skeletons from Victorian ages and stuff that we go, oh, look, there's that person had mad syphilis, like that person absolutely was infected. Oh, hello, Al Trucker. Good to see you, Al. Yes, they did find the body of Richard III, and he was not. Apparently, he had some scoliosis, but he was not the hunchback that he was portrayed in history. So we know he wasn't actually a hunchback. So yeah, it's kind of a bit of a weird one. But apparently, archaeologists in the future, and this is fairly well known. I hope I'm right. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But it's very well known that sort of if archaeologists in the future are looking back to our time, they will recognize our era, our sort of development by a layer of plastic in the sort of geological record. And sort of so plastics kind of everywhere. In fact, there's microplastic and nanoplastic accumulating in your cells, in your organs, in your brain. We don't think about it. We don't really know what to do about it. We don't even know it causes anything bad. It just is microplastic and nanoplastic is yeah, I mean, I've been on to talk with them, Jay, and hello, Jay. Who else came on? Hello, Tilting. Good to see you, mate. Yeah, you're hunk of the flat Earth, absolutely. Um, Look, okay, yeah, that Giuliani is definitely like haven't seen much of him around, I must admit. But yeah, Think Institute. Yeah, I once talked with them, and I think I've got like a panel coming up with one of the guys, the Alex guy, not Joel, the guy that usually talks. So I don't mind talking to them. As far as presups go, they're not too bad. Like I don't really mind talking to them at all. I did have a pre-sup video, Jay, if you want to check it out, where I engaged with them. Give me 1 sec. I'll find that for you, mate. Give me 1 second. Where am I? I have a channel somewhere. I do. It's no lie. A channel exists somewhere. Give me 1 second. Yeah, and then Saiten Bruggenkate showed up, which was hilarious because that guy's just ridiculous. Here we go. Here we go. I got it. There we go. There we go. I'm gonna. Yeah. Okay, you've seen it. All right. Well, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, they weren't too bad. They're, as far as presups go, Sai was way worse than Joel and Alex. He was condescending and horrible. Like, I mean, that's Sai 10 Bruggenkate for you, right? That's exactly what he's like. So, I'm going to do a poll. I feel in the mood for a poll. I sort of had insomnia last night. I could not sleep. So I just yeah, I just stayed up. I am incredibly tired, but this one's for the peeps. This one's for you guys, because seriously, I was thinking about giving it a miss. I was that tired, but I'm like, no, I want to do this. I really want to do this. I poll. Okay, Jessica Bell. Hello. Anybody else come in? Anybody I'm missing? Left-handed Jedi. Yeah. Cool. All right. Okay. Did you push the like? Let's add some options in here, because why not? I've noticed people doing this. I don't know if people like this or not, but um, I, 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 I don't know if people like this, if they don't like this, but hey, I'm going to put it out there. I'll try and make it a bit more silly around here, because why not? Why not? There we go. I think it's more just a reminder for people to push like. It's. I do want to try but Kent on the elevator. Does the flat Earth have a stuffed crust? Yes, it does. Yeah, yes, it does. Didn't you know about the mountain wall around the edge? Like it's a mountain. Or lick describe. Uh huh. Um, yes, it's stuffed with ice apparently. Uh huh. I don't know. I don't mind pizza. I like pizza. I make homemade pizza for Lynn and I. I think it's actually, you know what? It's definitely, it's better than so here's the thing. When I was younger, homemade pizza sucked, and it was always like Pizza Hut was amazing and all of this stuff. As I've gotten older, I like homemade pizza more than stuff that you order. I don't know why, I just do. It's very, very strange. It's very strange. Hello, Dave, good to see you. But yeah, as for the news goes, and I'm gonna that we have a local paper in Perth. It's like a statewide paper called the Bell Tower Times. Don't ask. Don't ask. Look, if you're wondering why it's called the Bell Tower Times, it's because we have as our only landmark is a bell tower, and it sucks. It's terrible. Let's see if I can find it. I'll explain this because it's sort of a joke thing. The bell tower, like our one and only landmark in the city, is a fucking bell tower. Um, the bell tower. It's got its own website. Experience the sound of Perth. Okay, okay. It's not that fantastic, trust me. Okay, let me just show you this thing. So this is going to be a experience for you, an experience. Experience the bell tower. This is experience the sound of Perth. The sound, even though this actual picture has no sound. Right. So apparently there's like some old fucking bell in there. Like nobody knows what this bell is. I don't know what it is. Yeah, and they do the locks on the thing because apparently Paris can't isn't the only one allowed to get away with that kind of thing. So romantic. So romantic. It's just glorious. Look, and you're right. It's only like about 5 stories tall. It's tiny. It is a small. Look, they're really exaggerating the camera angle. It's pretty dumb. Let's explore. General entry, romance package for two. Yeah, romantic Perth where you get to kiss your bride to be while balding and wearing flannelette. Yeah, it's beautiful. Anzac Bell Tour. It includes a personalized certificate, an exclusive souvenir coin. It's exclusive. Bell chiming. Perth Adventure Pass. Okay. General and back to general entry. Okay, there's the romance package. Yeah, if you all right, so personalized love lock. It's a romantic thing. Something for everyone. That covers everybody. Everyone is included under that. Look, everyone. I mean, those are palm trees. It's not that tall, trust me. And that's where the bell tower is. So that is the one and only landmark in our city. It's horrible. So we have a paper called the Bell Tower Times, right? And it basically is like the Onion kind of thing. It does fake news. I had to laugh yesterday. It put out an article which is hilarious. I gotta say. So if you're unaware of what's happening in Australia at the moment, um, basically the pharmaceutical companies are pressuring Trump to tariff Australia if they don't increase the price of their medicine. We've got something called the Pharmaceutical Benefits Scheme. It's basically, it provides reasonably priced medicine to its citizens, and the pharmaceutical giants are not happy that they can't overcharge us like they overcharge America, which is crap. That's just crap. I am really angry that they're trying to raise our medicine costs to the same as. I'm mad that America has got high medicine costs in the first place. Like, I really am. Fresh tomato, fresh basil. Yeah, capsicum's amazing. I'm not sure. I think in America, they're called bell peppers, Jessica. I think they call them bell peppers in America. I don't think they call them capsicum, to be honest with you. I think I learnt that one. They call them bell peppers. That was the professional left-handed Jedi, with a very, very creepy sort of relationship between an old guy and Natalie Portman, a very young Natalie Portman. Very, very young Natalie Portman. That was a good movie, but it was a bit creepy. It really was, and it was a French director that had a bit of Let's skip over that. We don't have to talk about that. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, now I know the one. It was a good film. I liked it. It's just it was creepy. That was a creepy relationship. It really was. So, Australia prepared to send in the emus if America says another word about our pharmaceutical benefits scheme. If they continue to talk smack about our beloved American pharmaceutical giants may think they are powerful, they'll be biting off more than they can chew if they continue to talk smack about our beloved PBS. The Pharmaceutical Benefit Scheme is what separates Aussies from the US. It provides access to life-saving medicines that the pharmaceutical companies would gladly see you sacrifice your firstborn child at the altar of capitalism for. That's why if they continue to lobby President Oompa Loompa to punish Australia for the PBS via retaliatory tariffs, we'll be forced to send in the emus, our most feared and competent defence force. That is true. Look, those guys will absolutely destroy you. I don't care how many aircraft carriers you've got. In short, the government's position is neither we nor the emus will tolerate being Shrek-lead up the wazoo by these disease-loving septic tanks. Yep. I thought that said skeptic tanks. That's funny. The Australian government said in the following statement, provided exclusively to the Belltower Times, justice will be swift. Direct descendants of the original brave emu soldiers have been briefed and will deploy on American soil if so much as another negative comment is made about the PBS by these blood-sucking parasites. Of course, the emus represent themselves and do not fight under the banner of Australia. This will help prevent any accusations of war or the like. Yeah. Look at this photo. That is horrific. Imagine trying to deal with that. We tried. Like, seriously, this is horrifying. That is horrifying. Look at that. Do you want to deal with that? No? Then get the hell out of our country and stop trying to make us pay like ridiculous things for medicine. Ridiculous stuff for medicine. But today, we oh, hey Luke, good to see you. They are horrific, and they roam around in mobs, and by mobs I think the a group of emus is called a mob. A mob, yes, a mob of emus. Yeah. It's yeah. Anyway, so today we're doing the Apologetics Press. So Apologetics Press, and AP keeps coming up in all. I'm kind of annoyed at them for taking the acronym AP because that's usually Associated Press, which is usually Associated Press is just they represent all press outlets in America, and sometimes like I think England as well. They sort of just a general amalgamation of a lot of different sort of news outlets. So. And I did see something sort of saying that apostate prophet has found God. I'm not sure if he's found God. I think he's found a large audience. I think he's definitely found a large audience. I haven't actually watched the video yet, but I saw a video on apostate prophet sort of, you know, making a leap of faith or something. It's like, oh, okay, there's a ton wrong with that. But, you know, he's been over on David Wood's channel, and he appears to have found God over there. You know, I'm sure he found a larger audience. Not sure if he found God or not. I'm not 100% sure. But I would like to debate him if he has, because that would be hilarious. Yeah, absolutely. They're a bit hit or miss, to be honest with you, Tilting. But that's actually funny. That's actually funny. Yeah, I mean, well, like all different species have different names. My favorite's probably the crash of rhinos. That is no, just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. A notice inside your pharmacy saying measles vax should now because it's on the rise. Yeah, yeah. I think that it is incredibly sad that we have a first world country with a measles outbreak, and the representative for the health services is putting it down to bad diet and bad lifestyle choices. That's insane. That's insane. But, you know, let's go for these apologetic press. So apologetics press, basically, you'll probably know one of the guys that does it. It's Carl Butt. It is Carl Butt. That's why the thing had in, you know, you need more butt, because it's Carl Butt, and he's hilarious. The first one is, where did Cain get his wife? So if you don't know, this is a problem for Christians. It's hilarious, and I find it incredibly funny. And as I said, I'm very tired, so forgive me. I'm going to be watching some funny stuff and having a laugh, because this is hilarious.
Where did Cain get his wife?
He got it from overseas. It's a mail order bride. It's a mail order bride. Oh yeah, I love more butt. There's another guy as well. I'm going to try and find out who he is, because he comes up. He's the guy in the thumbnail, and he comes up before, you know, and I don't know who he is. I really should find this kind of stuff out before I do it, kind of thing. Is there authors? Is he an author maybe? I don't know. I mean, there's Kyle Butt, and everyone knows the butt. Everyone likes the butt. It's just yeah. I don't know who the other guy is. I've got no idea. Oh, it's Eric Lyons, apparently. Eric Lyons is the other guy. Eric Lyons. He's not as famous as Butt. He's not as well liked as Butt.
Intriguing question. And anybody who's read the Old Testament, especially the book of Genesis, has probably wondered, where did he get his wife?
Yeah, it's a question, right? Adam and Eve, they basically had Abel and Cain. But if they were the first humans, then where did his wife come from? Because apparently there was people. Yeah, the people in Nod. Yeah, I don't know. It's very odd.
Here's the verse where we understand that he had one. In Genesis chapter 4, verses 16 and 17, after Cain had killed his brother Abel and he was sent out by the Lord, the text says, then Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod on the east of Eden. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bore Enoch.
Yeah, so the whole point is that you've got Adam and Eve giving birth to Cain and Abel, but when Abel leaves when he's sent out after he's killed Abel, with the mark of Cain on him, so nobody will harm him, he goes to the land of Nod, where it sort of implies that there's a whole civilization. Then, like I don't know about he knew his wife. I'm not sure which version of the Bible this is from. But it suggests there's like a city there. It's kind of like there's already a city and sort of a people kind of thing is what it suggests. I think knew his wife. Let's see, what is it? 16 to 17. So NIV says, it went out and dwelt or lived in the land of Nod east of Eden. Cain made love to his wife. Yeah, okay, so that's what it means by knew. She became pregnant and gave birth to Enoch. Enoch was born Irad. Irad was the father of Mahujael, and Mahujael was the father of Muthashel, and Muthashel was the father of Lamech. And so it has all this thing down, but it sort of is suggesting that, like, so Cain was then building a city. So it sort of suggests there was a ton of people around. And he sort of found his wife. But it doesn't sort of say where he found his wife. It just sort of says he knew his wife. It's very, very weird. It's very strange.
Now, the question is, we don't read about any other women in the Bible up to this point. And so how?
Well, you do. I mean, there's Eve basically is the only one. So, question, where did all these people come from? And number two, weren't they related?
How can Cain leave Eden and he shows up in the land of Nod, and there is automatically already a group of people there, or at least one woman there that he marries?
Yeah, and it is suggested that there's a group of people there, and sort of, that's what it sounds like. Because he's building a city that, you can't build a city without people. So it is implied there's a group of people there, because, you can't just single-handedly build a city. Well, yeah, that's a good question. That is a good question. Like, was it the children of Lilith? So don't forget that Lilith doesn't appear in the Christian Old Testament. Lilith doesn't come into it at all. Lilith is a Jewish thing. She's in sort of Jewish mythology, but she's not in Christian mythology because she's not in the Old Testament. So in biblical Hebrew, it's not the Torah, it's the Talmud. Okay, so it's in the Babylonian Talmud, it's in the Jewish Talmud. It is not in the Christian Bible. It's not. So they essentially wrote her out, which is just gross, like, come on now. But it's sort of that would be a good explanation, but because they have to say, or a lot of Christians say, hey, the Christian Bible is the actual truth of it, even though we know that they took it from the Jewish Talmud. There is no Lilith. Lilith doesn't exist anymore. No, doesn't exist. Even though the legends that they got it from, which was the Jewish mythology, absolutely had a Lilith in there. I think she was hard done by. A Sumerian prequel? Probably. Yeah, I think that sucks. I think that absolutely sucks.
Where did she come from? Basically, you've got two options as to where this woman that Cain married came from.
Well, I mean, just two. Lilith from Neon Genesis Evangelion? I don't remember Lilith. Was that his mother, I think? Yeah, Lilith's an amazing name. I love the name Lilith. I'm right there with you, Tilting Windmill. I love that name. It's awesome. It's certainly better than Eve. Lilith is great. I do like Aaron Ra's partner's name, there's Leandra, I think it is. It's just an awesome name, is Leandra. I really like that. It's like something from Lord of the Rings. It's wonderful. I love all of those kind of names, you know.
Number one, you could say that God created another race of people that he put in different places around the world.
Yeah, okay. Okay, mate. Yeah, no, God was just going around setting up franchises. I don't think that's very good. Like, if he made another race of people, why not mention it in the book? Like, seriously.
And she was one of those people. Is that a biblical answer?
Yeah, so that there's something to that, because basically Lilith didn't like being subservient to Adam. So Lilith is sort of venerated by a lot of feminist groups and things, because she's like, yeah, no, I'm not being subservient to this guy. I can't say I blame her. I mean, you know, it really all Lilith is this whole thing of, well, you know, if you're, you know, if you're not going to be subservient to the guy, you've got to leave, which is ridiculous, you know, like just absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what the hell. It's so weird.
Well, when we look into the Genesis record, we see that the text precludes that from being a viable option. When you go to Genesis chapter 3, you look in verse 20, and Adam is talking about his wife Eve. And the text says, and Adam called his wife's name Eve because she was the mother of all living.
Yeah. So, how is this not heretical? Well, so they won't say they're adding; they're saying they're reading in context. Really, there's a lot of apologetics around it, Jessica. That they will sort of say they're reading in context. They're you know, extrapolating upon the source. It's called exegesis. It's basically saying, oh, how do we interpret this to make sense? A lot of apologetics is just trying to make all of this stuff work with one another. This is but, yes, this is but, yes, this is 100%. You are right. You can spot a but, Udif, and it's good to see you, mate. Hello, Beerius. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Hello, Andrew. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Yeah, so he's basically saying that, hey, it doesn't match with the text that hey, God created some other, you know, bunch of people. Now, I have heard this from apologists before. I've heard, oh, well, they were related to the Nephilim, for instance, who are supposed to be the giants, right? So you get very confused, very contradictory things from different Christians, because some will say, oh, well, those people were the Nephilim, who would, because the Bible mentions that there were giants at the time, like just casually mentioned, that there were giants at the time of Eden, just hanging out somewhere. So do they count as people? If Eve was the mother of all living, how are they people? Now, again, meshing with Lilith, you know, there's an explanation of why there's other people. It's because Lilith was the first woman, and that she was banished and gave rise to all of these other people. Easily done it, but they cut out Lilith from the text kind of thing. So yeah, it sort of Genesis 6, 1-4. Genesis 6. So this was Genesis 4 he's looking at. So Genesis 6. And I think he's reading in the KJV, so I might stick to that. So it says, and it came to pass, hang on a sec. And it came to pass, why can't I share that? Share this tab instead. Hello? Oh, there we go. Okay. Wow. All right. That took a while. Then it came to pass, when men became to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born among them, the Son of God saw daughters of men, they were fair, and they took them wives, of which they chose. Okay. So the woman has no say in it. Lovely. That's gross. And the Lord said, my spirit will also strive with man. There were giants in the earth in those days. Oh. You care to explain where they came from? So that's what some Christians basically saying. Oh, well, that was the Nephilim. And after that, when sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, gross, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men of old, men of renown. But giants, please tell, where did the giants come from? Are they human? We don't know. We don't know. We have no idea. But yeah, so there's the problem. Like, apparently that Eve was... Oh, hello, AJ. How good to see you. Yeah, I don't know. It's very weird. And so you get these wild stories like, who is it? Kent Hovind saying there were giant fossils that were destroyed in the Smithsonian and stuff. Like, they actually think that there's giant fossils around, and not sort of things that we know existed, like Giganticus, the sort of it was sort of an ape-like creature that lived ages ago. No, these are different, but we'll get to that.
Well, what do we mean when we say all living? We certainly don't mean all living creatures. We don't mean all living plants. What does it mean that she's the mother of all living? Well, she's the mother of all living humans.
Yeah, I kind of... That's fine. Like, I get what you're saying. She's the mother of all living humans. Okay, I get the book says that. But then there's a problem. Because if they have Cain and Abel as children, and then Cain goes off to find a wife in the land of Nod, where there's obviously people there, there's a problem there, isn't there, mate? Yeah. I don't... Well, I mean, it depends what we're talking about here. Gigantopithecus, thank you. Yes, Gigantopithecus. I don't know what you mean by giant, though. So, the giants that they say were destroyed by the Smithsonian were 8-9 feet tall, kind of thing, which, or even taller. Today we have ways of helping people out that do have gigantism, but back in the day, I don't think so.
And so it's not that God created another group of people. Adam and Eve were the first two humans, and from them, all subsequent humans were born.
Excuse me? Okay, so how did they find a wife? But how did they find a wife? If they're like, if Cain and Abel, the only people there are descendants of Cain and Abel, and Cain goes off and finds a wife, that would mean they're related. They have to be.
So the idea that Cain went to Nod and found someone else that was a group of people that God had created besides Adam and Eve, not what the scripture teaches. So where did Cain get his wife? Who did he marry? When we read in Genesis chapter 5, verse 1 and then verses 3 and 4, here's what the text says. This is the book of the genealogy of Adam. And Adam lived 130 years and begot a son in his own likeness after his image and named him Seth. After he begot Seth, the days of Adam were 800 years, and he had sons and daughters.
Yes, okay. Genesis 5. Adam lived 130 years and begot a son in his own likeness and named him Seth. So after he begot Seth, the days of Adam were 800 years. Okay, evidence needed for that one, but sure. Okay, let's assume that is so.
Now, notice that genealogy. It mentioned Seth when he was 130 years old, but it didn't even mention Cain and Abel. So you see that Adam and Eve are having children prior to Seth at 130, and then after Seth at 130. And so really what you find is Adam and Eve are having children from the time that they start having Cain and Abel and Seth, and we don't know how many more sons and daughters that they had. In fact, if you were to do some quick calculation and you were to say from the moment that they were in the garden, they were mature enough to have children, because one of the things God said to them was to be fruitful and multiply.
Yeah, I don't, you know, I don't know. It's this whole thing of, you know, that's one explanation. The other explanation is it's just a myth. Like, it's just a freaking myth. Like, it doesn't, like, it's just a story, and it makes, like, if you go back to the Talmud, the Jewish Old Testament, it it makes so much more sense that hey, there's other people around, because Eve wasn't the first woman, and you know, all of this kind of stuff. Even then, it's just mythology. It's just mythology. But you know, we've got to take this seriously, because nothing's more serious than a big old butt. There's nothing more serious.
And so we don't know how many years they were in the garden. Could have been 20, 30, 40, 50. We don't know. Could have been 1, 2, 3. But then after they left the garden, how many years was it before Cain and Abel were old enough to mature and give their own sacrifices?
Let's just, while we're making crap up, let's just go hog wild and say it was 700 years. How many children could you have in 700 years? Let me get my calculator. Okay, so 700 years, and you can get pregnant every 9, or let's say 10 months. Just give it a month for Eve to, just cool down that vag before she has another kid. You know, you got to cool these things off. So 700 years. Let's see. Times what's that? 10 over 12. Let's see. 700 times 10 over 12. Okay. All right. So roughly around 583 kids. Like that, but that's assuming she like can procreate from the you know, to a dying day kind of thing, you know, like that's, but it doesn't say how long Eve lasted, which is sort of, you know, again, it's kind of the real sort of misogyny and you know, patriarchal way the Bible has. It just, you can't, you know, no one cares what happens to the woman. It's ridiculous. It's so stupid. Oh yeah, I got to factor in. Yeah, hey James, I got to factor in twins and triplet. Damn it, do I have to? All right, all right. Well, let's just say she had 500 kids. Okay, all right. And so if we plug in something else, that comes out to a whole lot of inbreeding. Just monumental. It comes out to over 9,000 inbreeding. It's he's not refuting the story. He's leaning into it. He's going butt first. He really is.
Would they have had other sons and daughters in that time period? Certainly. So it looks like Cain most likely married his sister.
And there's your solution. Just look how serious this man is. So it looks like Cain married his sister. As God intended. As God intended, he married his sister. Look, I'm gonna lean into the stereotype, and I'm sorry if this is stereotyping, but it's just so much better that he's saying it with a thick Southern accent, you know, like, that's the solution. He married his sister. Keep it in the family, hey, but
Well, you say, hold on just a second, Kyle. Marrying your sister.
I married my cousin, and that turned out just fine. Look what a well-formed individual I am. Wow. Yeah, no, it's even better that he's got a thick Southern accent, like really.
That's problematic, isn't it? Well, not from the beginning of time, because
That's problematic. Not from the beginning of time. Beginning of time. I'm presuming it's an angel, or possibly they count as a priest because they're from some kind of holy. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who's giving out the marriage certificates here. But seriously, the state should step in and stop Cain from marrying his sister, because seriously, that is not cool. That is not going to end well.
Because when the human genome was free from any type of mutation.
Oh, we know the human genome was free of any type of mutation. It was free of any type. How did you know? Who did these tests? How do you know this? No, we're not going to find out. We're just going to assume it. Okay.
The problems that we would run into today with marrying a close relative would not have been the same then. In fact, you don't see regulations on not marrying your close kin until the Mosaic period, which is thousands of years after creation.
And wow. So just all kinds of rampant interbreeding before the Mosaic law. No, it was the Mosaic law that did it. Yeah, absolutely. Wow.
Abraham in 2000 BC married his half sister. And so you see, it would be a viable, both scientific and biblical answer.
Oh, it's scientific, is it? Oh, that is stretching the word scientific so far. Like, that is not scientific. How is that scientific? Oh, it's so funny. Like, seriously, that he thinks it's scientific. Yeah, so our story says that he married his sister. So we're going to say, hey, he was genetically, and I hate using this word genetically pure, because that's, and that's scientific. Yeah, absolutely. But scientifically, I look forward to your paper in Nature about it, honestly.
To say that Cain married his sister, who was born to Adam and Eve, who had moved to the land of Nod. It's a good question, and it's always interesting and exciting to find answers to those.
Don't be excited. That's not an exciting answer. If you're excited by that answer, then you may be a redneck. I saw that thing earlier. Where was it? If your family tree does not fork, you might be a redneck. Yeah, if you're excited that Cain married his sister, you might be a redneck. That wasn't very good stand-up, though. I just that's hilarious. Genetically pure would be a one-celled organism. Yeah, but that would still have mutations, Andrew. Like, the idea that no mutations occurred at all in this genome is just ridiculous. Like, it's just so... It's so silly. I don't even know what to say to it. It's just like, oh, well, it's scientific because no mutations happened. What? I don't... what?
Those types of questions from the Bible.
All right, so that's the butt man, sort of explaining where Cain found his wife. Apparently, he didn't have to find his wife. The sister was there all along. That's what happened. Wow, it's just... and then for them to say, oh, no, there's no problems with interbreeding because they, anytime anybody starts talking about genetic purity, I get uncomfortable, really uncomfortable, because there is no such thing. There isn't. Yeah, no, I get you, Beerus. Were you there? Yeah, it's amazing how much they want to say, hey, you don't know what happened back then because we didn't have anybody around to record it, and then tell you all these things that are ridiculous and there's no possible way they could know it. It's really weird. No, Abraham was his half sister. This is sort of where you get the genealogy that it sort of says in the Bible. So it would have been his half sister and half like cousin 3 times removed or something. So it would have been a horrendous amount of inbreeding, like horrendous. So yeah, he was talking about Abraham, who came much later. Much later. I'm trying to find a thing for it, kind of thing. Usually I think I saw a family tree once that was pretty good, you know, for the Abraham. Habsburgs? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's just mean, Dave. He's not that old. Come on, man. Like, seriously? Seriously? You're just hating on speed. Okay, so next video, because we're doing I'm going to do 3. This might not go as long as my other segments. I'm kind of glad about it. But honest with you, I'm very tired. As I said, I had insomnia last night, so I didn't get an early night. But I did find 3 of these amazing videos to show. This one is, where did all the dinosaurs go? This is great. This is absolutely great. No, it's talking about Abraham married his half sister, which is true. You know, according to the Bible. Oh, it's all love. All right. Well, you know, there needs to be more love. There's just, you know, more love, except where your sister is involved. Because seriously, that's not going to end well. Even if you are a mythological figure. Yeah, and that's basically it, Jessica. That's basically it. The deleterious consequences weren't around because of magic, because it was, you know, this whole thing is kind of, but at the same time, they want to sort of say, hey, all the genetic problems were caused by the original sin. Well, then why didn't they have problems? It takes such mental gymnastics to figure this out. And you know, it's a lot easier when you just sort of go, okay, well, it's just a story. It's just a story.
You can go to a zoo and you can see a hippopotamus. You can see a koala bear.
I can see a koala bear, yeah, and sometimes I don't even need to go to the zoo. Look, people think koalas are cuddly and nice. Don't be fooled. Those are the eyes of a killer. These things are horrible. They are nasty tempered pieces of crap. They really are. Like, well, yeah, koalas are not bears. Yeah, no, I gotcha. But they're also very bad tempered. Like the koalas that they give you. Why do they say koala bears? I don't know. A lot of them do, like 90% of them, Luke. Not all of them do, but a lot of them do. It's sort of a koala version of chlamydia, yes. But usually the ones that they give tourists to hold and stuff, they've been fed gum leaves and they're feeling sleepy and stuff like that. They're in a good mood for a koala. They're usually really bad tempered and they smell. Koalas are not as nice as you think they are.
You can see a kangaroo, but if you want to see a dinosaur, going to the zoo isn't going to get you there, is it?
I don't think this is a particularly accurate representation of the T-Rex. Like I have been suggested by some paleontologists, they kind of had they're kind of feathery. They have feathery scales, not leathery skin, because they're scaly like a reptile, but they're kind of feathery as well.
Because you can't see a Tyrannosaurus Rex at the zoo. You can't see an Apatosaurus. You can't see a Pachycephalosaurus. And why not?
Well, it's because they lived millions of years ago and went extinct. I don't know how that's a difficult question for you. Is this for children? Is this for children? I don't know if this is for children. I don't know, because seriously, that is not. I'm very baffled. Why can't you see a dinosaur? They all died out. But Kyle, but what is your? I, I, I I'm very baffled. I'm very baffled.
The simple answer is dinosaurs are extinct. So how do we
Congratulations.
know that they ever lived? Well, we can find their fossils and we can know they once lived, but today we don't find them on our planet alive, and so they are labeled extinct.
They're labeled extinct. They're just labeled. Like this is just a label we put on them. No, they're really extinct. They're really not here anymore. Flintstones was a documentary. I think so. Like, just wait for it. Oh dear. Yeah, you'd think so. You'd think so. No, he covers that. He covers that that sort of section of it.
When we study dinosaurs, we quickly realize that because they're extinct, most of us want to know what happened to all the dinosaurs.
So he's not sort of pushing back, and this is sort of the gradient of madness we get from creationists. Like, some of them say, "Oh, well, they're fake," kind of thing. That's on the really wacky end of it. They're all fake. They never lived. You get the ones that go, "Oh, well, they were there, but they went extinct in the flood." Then you get the ones that are sort of like, "Oh, they're dragons. They lived up until the medieval period because we've got stories of dragons." Like, you get this whole spectrum of wacky with these people. I think he's on board with the flood killed them all. I'm not sure. Excuse me, I'm not sure. I did go through this quickly. I'm just not sure. I don't know if it's around where you are, but see if they carry NyQuil. NyQuil? I don't know what NyQuil is. That like cough syrup or something? I'm not sure what that is.
Why were there dinosaurs in the past, but there are not dinosaurs now? Where did all the dinosaurs go?
They were taken up to heaven. They're in dinosaur heaven, and that's actually. I mean, I'm joking, of course, but that's actually a prescient point, because I was watching our last Fundamentalist fails was, does Fluffy go to heaven? Right? Do your pets go to heaven? Which is a hotly contested topic within Christianity. NyQuil is a version that helps you sleep. Okay. I mean, it might be worth a go. Why not? So the whole point is that if your pets go to heaven and animals go to heaven, which this person was contesting, they were sort of saying, hey, yes, animals are quite likely in heaven. Does that mean there's a big, like, honking tyrannosaur in heaven? Does that mean brontosaurus are in heaven? Like, are you going to go there and suddenly a velociraptor's going to come out, but it's vegetarian for some reason? Like, at what point do we start calling bullshit on this? Like, seriously, like, am I going to have to go up to heaven and do the Chris Pratt, like, it's just settle the velociraptor? NyQuil in Australia. Oh, it is available in Australia. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big taker of medicine, to be honest with you. I don't usually take medicine unless I absolutely need to. I think that overtaking a medicine is one of the things that is a problem at times. Don't get me wrong, I've got nothing against, like, I'll take painkillers and stuff if I've got a headache. It's not a problem. I'm not one of those, purists. It's just generally, if I can survive without medicine, I don't take it. Just yeah. Oh, thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it. Occasionally, I just have this bout. So I must admit, I was thinking a lot about an upcoming debate. So I was just sort of, when I start, my brain, sometimes it's so hard to turn off. It's just so hard to turn off. So yeah, sometimes I I got to get it out of my system. So I apologize. It's just it's totally my fault. But yeah, I mean, is there dinosaurs in heaven if there's animals in heaven? You know, I. Ugh. Yeah, absolutely. I agree, Beerus. Like I don't, I don't have a problem. Like take medication if you've been prescribed and it's necessary. Absolutely, totally with you. I just generally, if I can't, I don't have to, then I generally don't. Just so I don't build up tolerances or stuff like that. But I've got nothing against medicine at all. Hill Hugger member for 22 months. Thank you so much, Hill Hugger. Can I get a Bigfoot Jesus in the chat for Hill Hugger? Thank you so much, mate. 22 months. That's insane. That's almost 2 years. What are you doing, Hill Hugger? You have been here so long. I really appreciate it, though. You are a champion. Breakfast of champions. When you were 10, your cat passed away. I'm so sorry. By saying he was in heaven now and would be waiting for me. And then 5 years later, a youth pastor told me that was nonsense. Yeah, it's very hotly contested. I think that the sort of purists and the more fundamentalist sort of Christians say that's nonsense. It doesn't happen. But it's interesting that not a lot of them will say absolutely not, because they're aware that people don't like, if you're a Christian, you don't like it if your pastor says, hey, your cat just doesn't go to heaven, that you don't like it. So in order to receive the maximum amount of money, they will say, well, we don't know. It's all pretty, I don't know, I'm cynical about it. I think that they don't tell people that because they wouldn't like it. Oh, look, Yudif, I've got no problem. I do take prescribed medicine kind of thing. I do have prescriptions for stuff that I do take, and I've got no problem with it. It's just sort of, I'm kind of just aware that if you take sort of antibiotics too often for everything, you'll build up tolerances to drugs. It's just, just moderation is the key. Like no one's sort of saying, hey, don't, take them. Yeah, caffeine is a drug. Nicotine's fine. Yeah, yeah. I mean, nicotine's probably worse than anything else on there, to be honest with you. But yeah, beer is. I don't know, man. I drink very little these days. I don't. I don't have a problem with alcohol. I'm not sort of teetotaling because I'm getting off of it. And look, if my heart goes out to those people who do have problems with alcohol. I've met a lot of people in that boat, and look, I totally get it. It's hard to kick. Um, I don't I don't really drink anymore. As I've gotten older, I'm like, yeah, I could give it a miss. I don't really, I don't really get into it that much, and that's fine. I don't have any problem, any problem at all. So yeah, I used to take nicotine. I used to smoke, and I quit that, and I've never been happier. Yeah, I wouldn't drink it. I'm sorry, Beerius. If you wanted to buy me a drink, buy me a cider or something, because I don't know. I like the taste of it more. So, oh look, James, 100% support, man. You've got not. That is amazing. That's awesome. Absolutely. I've met lots of people with a problem with alcohol, and that is amazing what you've done. 100%. I am all on board. So, and that's incredible, incredible. I think there's a lot of shame kind of thing associated with that kind of stuff, and there shouldn't be. People get have problems with like I said, I was addicted to cigarettes, absolutely addicted. I could not stop. Tried multiple times, and it took a long time to get off them. So, kudos to you, sir. Absolutely. 3 years ago, the Victorian government commissioned a report on cannabis. Its conclusions were that legalization was the way to go, but the government has refused to take any action on the recommendations. Yes, but they've decriminalized it in Canberra, which says a lot. It's really weird. If there was one substance I would make legal, it wouldn't be alcohol. Alcohol would be one of the last, absolutely. It would actually be THC or marijuana. I think that it's way less socially problematic. But it's not up to me. I used to have weed. I used to smoke weed. I don't anymore. I've kind of, that's the thing. I had a blast on weed. I did like one episode I did have a bit of a sort of paranoid episode kind of thing, I must admit. But it wasn't too bad for me. I just I feel like it it slows me down for a long time. I don't really want to have weed anymore just because it slows my brain down, and I feel, for days afterwards, I feel like I'm working half full. But one thing to remember about weed is that in a small percentage of the population, it can cause sort of psychosis. It's not very popular opinion, but it can. So being safe and having people around that can take care of you if necessary is the way to go. But be aware that it's not that it causes it, it triggers it. Okay, I'm not saying that weed causes psychosis. I'm saying that in a tiny population, a percentage of the population, it can cause psychosis kind of thing. It can trigger psychosis.
Very good question. And in order to answer it, we first got to get some things straight. You see, dinosaur extinction is interesting to us because they were such amazing creatures. But extinction is not rare.
No, it's like 99% of the population. I'm not sure. It's 99 point something. Like of all animals that have lived have gone extinct. Like it's a ridiculous amount, which kind of, it's kind of weird if you think about it. That 99.9% of all species of plants and animals have become extinct. So it's weird to think, okay, well, you've got a God that creates everything and then just lets them die off for no personal reason. Yeah, and that's absolutely true. Absolutely true. And that's how it hits some people. Sure, Jessica, I'm right there with you. These days, I would rather snuggle with my wife and watch a really good movie. That is way better. And I'm not feeling fuzzy and off for the next few days, and there's no hangover. I would rather do that. I'm right there with you.
Many of the animals that lived in the past are now extinct. In fact, it's been suggested that a very large percentage of all the animals that once lived on our planet no longer live. We no longer see dodo birds. We don't see.
Well, dodo birds didn't just go extinct, but we kind of hunted them to extinct. Like that wasn't like, oh, well, they just died off. Like I don't. That is probably true. Yeah, so that's the whole point. Amberius is absolutely right. It's a problem for creationists. It fits the theory of evolution perfectly. In fact, extinction's kind of necessary for the theory of evolution. Like it actually is one of the necessary components is species just going extinct. Oxygen was the first big extinction level event, I think. And you're probably right, actually. Yeah.
Saber-toothed tigers. We don't see woolly mammoths.
Well, we kind of do. We don't see. Well, you mean in the zoo? No, but wait a while. Apparently, we're bringing them back as well as the thylacine and stuff. But the dodo bird, I don't know why you're calling it a dodo bird. It's obviously a bird. Just call it a dodo, for fuck's sake. We killed the dodo. Like there were reports of it. People ate dodo. Like, and they hunted them, and apparently they weren't very good at surviving. They were on an island. I think it was was it Mauritius? Where did the dodo live? Was it Madagascar? I don't remember. I don't remember. No, it was Mauritius. Yeah. It's a like an island country in the Indian Ocean, 2,000 kilometers off southeastern Africa. Yeah, so it's like way off the coast of Africa. So they were kind of geographically isolated, and sort of they didn't have any real predators until humans came along, and we predated them. We predated them hard, and they all died off. So we've got sort of accounts of people hunting them and like describing what they taste like and stuff. They just went extinct. Oh no, they didn't just go extinct.
Or millions of other creatures. Those are all extinct.
Yeah, you're right. People say tuna fish. As opposed to what? Tuna cat? I don't. My definition of a good movie and my misses are worlds apart. Yeah, that's fine, Jen. I get you. Hey, Lynn and I, my wife and I, like she watches movies I would never ever watch, kind of thing. She has different tastes than I do, but we like watching some things together. You don't have to agree on everything, there's definitely movies that transcend genres and you can both watch, kind of thing. I don't see the problem with that. Tuna hawk, yeah. The flying fish.
And it's especially true that many of the larger animals that lived in the past, like dinosaurs, are no longer around today.
Yeah, so I think he's talking megafauna, but megafauna came way after the dinosaurs, like Thylacolea and what's it called? Mega. Oh God, I've forgotten the name of it. It was a big frigging anteater thing. But I mean, woolly rhinos and stuff were megafauna, and the mammoth that he talked about was megafauna. They kind of just didn't survive. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It was like a massive sloth. What am I? Megatherium. God, why can't I remember that? I must be getting old. My brain is going. I am pretty tired though. Megatherium. It's one of my favorites. It's just like a big ass sloth, like just a big ass sloth. It's awesome.
Also, most people who talk about dinosaur extinction, well, they say it happened millions of years ago.
Yes, we know it happened millions of years ago. So this is where it starts to go off the rails. Like nothing I've sort of he said I disagree with. Like we have animals in the zoo and you have animals that aren't around anymore. Okay, great, but you took, over a minute to say that. Congratulations. But I agree with that. Yes. There are an amazing amount of extinct animals. Yes.
Long before these dinosaurs, they evolved and died out millions of years before humans arrived on the scene.
Well, it's only because they died out could humans arrive on the scene. If the dinosaurs didn't die out, they were definitely the apex predators of their time. I don't think humans would have gotten to be humans if the dinosaurs were still around. So really, we're talking about the dinosaurs dying out through an event, and then was the time of mammals. Mammals became the most dominant predator of the day. And sort of, so if the dinosaurs didn't die out, we wouldn't be here, because I don't think we would have gotten started. I think that there would have been they would have been too many predators around and too freaking dangerous. And left-handed Jedi. Oh, thank you, Jedi, with 5 gifted readerships. Thank you, Jedi. You are awesome. And those go out to Marty Camaro, Reed S. Nitty. Love your nitties. Can't speaks and spooky chicken. Enjoy your emotes and other benefits. Congratulations. Is spooky chicken spooky bed hair? I don't know. Every time I see spooky, I think it's spooky bed hair. Winners, chicken dinner. Enjoy your emotes, other benefits, and yeah, and thank you so much, Left-Handed Jedi. You are fantastic. You know that already. Come on now. You know that. You know that. Yeah.
But that's simply not possible, for the simple reason that dinosaurs were created on day 6 of the creation week.
That's not possible because my book says that dinosaurs were created on day 6 of the creation week. Could your book be wrong? I think they're holding a 3D printed butt plug. Yes, it's 3D printed though. Everything's 3D printed nowadays. No, it's just a skull. It's just a skull. Hold it. Where was it? It's a skull. See, it's just a skull. I mean, look, you could use it for a butt plug. I'm not going to shame you. I'm not going to yuck your yum, all right? If you get into that kind of, toothy butt plug, I'm not judging, okay? He definitely is, this man is definitely thinking, like, which way up do I insert this, though? Like, 100%. That's what's going. I can read his mind from here, quite frankly. He's going, which way is this, like, teeth down or teeth up? I don't know. Which would feel better?
And died out millions of years before humans arrived on the scene. But that's simply not possible.
It's not possible.
For the simple reason that dinosaurs were created on day 6 of the creation week.
Yeah, or your story is full of crap. That's the other option. That is the other option. Danger was rective. Wow, okay. Look, isn't that... I mean, I'm not shaming anyone. I'm not shaming
the same day as humans. Neither dinosaurs nor humans ever evolved over millions of years, but they were created instantaneously by God, fully formed.
Right. Okay.
Furthermore, the Earth is not millions or billions of years old. Whatever happened to the dinosaurs did not happen millions of years ago. We know this because we have lots of evidence that humans and dinosaurs lived together only a few thousand years ago.
Yeah, no, we don't have tons of evidence of that. Most of those are actually fake. Like, I don't think that's supposed to be a dinosaur. That doesn't even look like you're saying that's a dinosaur. Oh, come on now. Millions of years ago, like thousands of years ago. That, I think the one in the top left is a fake. Like, this is the kind of stuff they always get like suckered into, like the people selling them Inca stones with dinosaurs on it. If you're unfamiliar with that one, some creationist went to South America and bought these stones with dinosaurs on it, and they kept finding these stones, mostly because he was willing to pay top dollar for them, so they were just making them and selling them to him, which is just hilarious that he believes it. But it's sort of confirmation bias. He's willing to sort of believe anything that will confirm his sort of yeah. I think the top left one is an absolutely known fake.
Another thing that we sometimes hear about dinosaur extinction is that mammals began to evolve and eat the dinosaur eggs.
What? No. Well, I mean, there were mammals around. Did they eat eggs? Yeah, probably. What?
Mammals began to evolve and eat the dinosaur eggs.
They didn't begin to evolve. Everything was already evolving, and they ate the dinosaur eggs. I mean, I'm pretty sure that a mammal might have gotten a dinosaur eggs, but the mammals came after the dinosaurs. They really evolved after the dinosaurs. What? This is so weird. I'm sure there were dinosaurs eating dinosaur eggs as well. Like the oviraptor. The oviraptor is literally like what is it, like an egg thief. It would basically steal. It's called an oviraptor because it would steal other dinosaurs' eggs and eat them. I don't know what. How did you come to this conclusion?
Killing the dinosaurs. The problem with ideas like this is that neither dinosaurs nor mammals evolved millions of years after or before each other. All the land living creatures were made on day 6 of creation. That means dinosaurs and mammals would have lived together from the very beginning of time.
Okay, so these are all the dinosaurs going onto the ark. So presumably there were dinosaurs on the ark. Okay. Like every species of dinosaur, that adds to your problem there, because that's a lot of dinosaurs. Like, boy, that's a lot of dinosaurs.
Any ideas about extinction that include something evolving millions of years afterward or anything like that, they simply aren't scientifically correct. They're not
Scientifically correct. Yeah, you're showing children book pictures. Like, you're showing, and this is the thing, like, this is the scientifically correct one, that dinosaurs were leaping, gambling, just flouncing onto the ark. Yes, that's scientifically accurate. You know, the research that's been done in the field, no, that's not scientific. No, absolutely not. Millions of years, no, not scientifically accurate. This is accuracy right here. What are you talking about, Butt? What are you talking about?
dinosaurs and mammals would have lived together from the very beginning.
Yabba dabba doo.
Any ideas about extinction that include something evolving millions of years afterward or anything like that, they simply aren't scientifically correct. They're not biblically correct, and they're not historically accurate.
Yeah, so this is the thing. They want to co-opt the word science to say, hey, what we're doing is science. What you're doing is nothing but lies and misinformation and devilry and things like this. Like, it's seriously, like, this man has he wouldn't know science if it hit him in the face. Like, all he's got is sort of degrees in New Testament studies and apologetics and things like that. He is not a scientist. He doesn't know what science is, and like, not historically correct. What are you talking about? It's so weird. Okay, I will acknowledge that it's not biblically accurate. I will acknowledge that. Who cares? It is scientifically accurate that they died out millions of years ago. Yeah, it feels like that, doesn't it? But it's not, it's obviously not. It's like supposed to be to actual people. And I've seen this trend on YouTube, Jin, of creationist sort of pastors or preachers or apologists talking to people like they're children. They really talk to people like children in order to soothe them and sort of, I noticed it when watching, who was that guy in that English dude? Kirby, Off the Curb Ministries, and he really does talk to people like children.
Now, many scientists who teach evolution and talk about those millions of years, and
many scientists, almost every single scientist is what you mean to say. The overwhelming consensus of scientists.
Dinosaurs evolving into something else like birds. They teach that there was a huge asteroid that was about 6 miles wide that 65 million years ago hit the Earth and caused events that ultimately led to the extinction of dinosaurs.
Yes. So essentially, if basically we don't know exactly what happened, that's the thing. Like, the impact may have thrown up enough debris to cause a a winter kind of thing because it blocked the sun. It may have been volcanic activity throwing up more particulates that blocked the sun, but essentially it caused an ice age. It caused the Earth to get colder, and the dinosaurs that couldn't cope died out. That's essentially what happened. And only smaller dinosaurs that can conserve heat and small burrowing mammals managed to survive the event. That's it.
Supposedly, this happened on the Yucatan Peninsula, and there's
Yes,
a
it did.
huge crater called Chicxulub that's about 112 miles.
Yep, Chicxulub. And that is the crater. Yes, we have found the crater, and it is massive. Absolutely massive.
In diameter. And scientists believe that this crater is evidence that their theory is right. But there are several problems with this idea.
Oh, what are the problems, But I want to know the problems that you've dreamed up in that little noggin of yours. Like, come on, give me the problems. What problems are there with this stuff that has a ton of evidence for it? Because, we've got stratigraphy, we've got where the fossils are and the order that they're in. So please, what are the problems? Go.
First, evolutionist ideas about 65 million years, well, those aren't correct.
Oh,
we have found dinosaur fossils that have soft tissue still in them that couldn't possibly have lasted 65.
Okay, so this is basically referring to the Mary Schweitzer experiments who found soft tissue in dinosaurs. Now, this is completely misleading because this is not what it looked like. Basically, it was cartilage, sort of cartilaginous tissue that she had to bathe in acid in order to do anything with it, do anything on it. It definitely changed the way that we view soft tissue and how long it can survive for under certain conditions, but there was no blood cells. Mary Schweitzer said, stop saying it disproves the millions of years because it doesn't. She came out and said that herself. And so most creationists create a conspiracy theory that Mary Schweitzer is in the pocket of Big Dino or whatever the hell they want to make up. Like, they have to sort of say, hey, but she put out a statement trying to stop these people from misinterpreting and misrepresenting her work. And they still do it. They still do it, even though the author of the paper says, no, you're wrong. It doesn't show thousands of years. It's still millions. She still gets misrepresented, and that's the annoying thing. That is the annoying thing. Oh dear. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. And this is misleading because this is obviously some of the stock footage he uses, and it's not actually the sample that she used. It definitely isn't. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's available online if you want to read it. It's just, but she put out a statement on, her stuff. Like, let's see. Fibrous bone. Yep. And look, I mean, it's amazing the work that she did because it sort of, changed our ideas of how long soft tissue can survive under certain conditions. That is a good thing, but to use it for something else, I'm not sure this is the right one. She's talking about emu stuff. No, that's Moa mastodon. No, that's paywalled. I'm not going to go for that. Yeah, so this is the stuff that she found, right? Under sort of electron microscope. This is the stuff that she found, not what Butts is showing. This is the kind of stuff that she found under there. So this idea that she found this red blood cells that's sort of, soft tissue. No, that's not what we're talking about here. That's what she's talking about. This is microscopy images of T-Rex vascular tissue and associated analysis of fibrillar collagen banding. She's not saying she found blood cells, right? This is what she found. When analyzed, the pliable T-Rex vessels exhibited ordered fibrous structures. So it's just sort of a really, really, it's misrepresented completely. This is what we're talking about. And she sort of changed how we can understand mineralization and kind of thing. So yeah, totally. Well, I mean, for all we know, but the paleontologists, they know what they're looking at. They know what to look for. This is what Butts is showing, and he's a butt. He is absolutely a butt.
Million years. Second, in very recent studies, it's been discovered that many of the same animals and plants that were alive before the event, well, they were still alive many years after the event. And scientists have discovered that even if there was a huge impact, it didn't cause the animals and the plants in that area to become completely extinct.
Nobody says that it did. It wasn't the impact that caused it directly. It was the winter that came afterwards, the ice age that came afterwards. It was the cooling down of the earth afterwards that caused it. So this is Bart not knowing what he's talking about. Because he doesn't understand that he thinks that, the impact caused the dinosaurs to go. No, it wasn't the impact directly, you moron. It was the sun being blocked, the earth cooling, and then everything freezing over that caused the problem. The dinosaurs just were not equipped for a lower temperature Earth. That's it. It's just, he thinks that the impact directly, just killed off the dinosaurs. No, that's not what we're saying. We don't even know if it was the particles thrown up by the impact. It may have been the volcanic activity caused by the impact that blocked out everything.
And third, many animals that we know lived before or during the time of dinosaurs, well, they're still alive today.
Oh, what animals?
For instance, sharks were.
Can anybody tell me why sharks that live underwater was not affected by the decrease in temperature? Anybody? Anybody know the answer to that question? Yeah, and Sterling, it's incredibly rare conditions. That's the thing. And that's what Mary Schweitzer kind of demonstrated. And I'm not a paleontologist. Archaeology more deals with human stuff, but I get your point. But I know that she had come out and said, hey, it doesn't change the millions of years to thousands. It just means that our understanding of preservation of soft tissue is different than we originally thought, which was great research. I've got no problem with Mary Schweitzer. Great research. Can't be due to being... No, it wouldn't be, because sort of water's a lot hard to... yeah. So, and plus we get things like sharks have been largely unchanged for millions and millions of years, just because it's basically... it's reached... it's sort of found an evolutionary niche that it's very, very adapted for, so it hasn't changed. But it has changed a fair bit. Like, does he know that megalodons aren't around anymore? Does he know that? Like, does Butt know that? Yeah, exactly. Megalodons. There's also another bunch of sharks that went extinct. Like, I don't, if he's shark is such a wide range of animals. Like, I don't think, if you're talking about species going extinct, there's been tons of them that have gone extinct, like tons and tons of them. So yeah, I don't know. It's sort of a subclass of fish. It's not, it's not sort of just one species or something. That sharks are a very wide range.
Supposed to be alive during the age of the dinosaurs, but they're still alive. Why didn't the impact kill them?
The impact didn't kill any. Well, it probably killed a whole bunch of things, right? But as far the impact itself isn't what caused these things to go extinct. It was the cold afterwards. That's what caused them to go. It wasn't like, this asteroid hit every single dinosaur around the world simultaneously. How would that even work? Ay. But this butt has reached a new low. It is a low-hanging butt.
And several kinds of turtles and crocodiles and other reptiles, well, they were alive during the time of dinosaurs, but they're still alive as well.
Yeah, and they could probably conserve their heat because they're a lot smaller. It's just the way thermodynamics works. The bigger you are, the more heat you have to generate to keep warm, right? And the more you have to eat to sustain your body. It's just the way that thermodynamics works. If you're smaller, you conserve more heat. That's it. Congratulations, you've figured it out.
The truth is, since God created all the kinds of animals on days 5 and 6 of creation, then all of the animals that are now living would have lived through the event.
What? All the animals that were living now would have lived through the event because they were created on day 5 or 6. Okay, well, riddle me this one, bud. Why can we find like DNA for the mammoth and for the thylacine, animals that have gone extinct, and we can't find any for dinosaurs? Riddle me that one, sir. Riddle me that one. Why is that? It's almost like dinosaurs died out way before the other extinct species. Yeah, absolutely. Cephalopods are awesome. Yeah, 500 million years. But they're not exactly the same as they used to be. Everything still changes. That's the thing.
What could cause such a crash to destroy only the dinosaurs and not the lions and tigers or Komodo dragons?
There weren't any lions or tigers or Komodo dragons around at the time. Like, he doesn't understand evolution in the slightest. He doesn't understand that, hey, there were a number of species. They diverged after the dinosaurs. The larger ones were wiped out. The smaller ones could do better. They survived. It's crazy that he can't understand this. It's absolutely crazy. And he's acting like he's got scientific knowledge. It's absolutely nuts. Yeah, well, that didn't really matter, Jin. It was more that, it created a artificial winter that caused an ice age from either the particulates thrown up from the, the dust and the stuff thrown up from the impact, or from geologic, tectonic, or volcanic events afterwards, spewed a lot of dust into the air. It cooled the earth, and then everything big couldn't survive, because if the earth cools, grass dies, or the trees that were around dies, or the lycopods die. A lot of things died that these animals ate, and because the animals that ate all of this plant matter died, the big predators did as well. Like, this isn't rocket science. It wasn't the impact at all that did it.
The truth is, dinosaurs didn't go extinct because of a huge asteroid millions of years ago. So why did they go extinct?
Oh, this is
Well, the
great.
best answer is that many dinosaurs would have died in the global flood of Noah. Since the whole world was flooded,
Mhm.
only those dinosaurs that were on the ark that Noah built would have been saved. And
Okay, so what dinosaurs were saved? But what dinosaurs were saved? Because we don't seem to have any around today. So what dinosaurs were actually? I suppose we do, but he doesn't believe in evolution, so he doesn't think that birds came from dinosaurs. So if you ask me what dinosaurs are around today, I would say, well, birds are the descendants of dinosaurs. Yes. Have you ever seen a cassowary? It's a frigging dinosaur, man. Like seriously. Yeah, that wasn't the reason. Like the blast wave, it wouldn't have gone that far. I mean, it was a massive. I have no doubt it caused a lot of destruction and wiped out a lot of animals. But that wasn't the reason why it happened. Burbs, they're not real. No, you're right. You got me. You got me. It's the Great Birdgate conspiracy. Yes, yes.
he could have taken young dinosaurs so that they wouldn't have taken up that much room in the ark, so that after the flood, we have evidence that humans lived with dinosaurs for many hundreds of years.
No, no, we don't. Humans never lived with dinosaurs, and there is no evidence for that whatsoever. Most of the evidence quoted is like, oh, but they thought of, they had legends of dragons. Or, hey, this footprint looks like a human's and it's with a dinosaur's. Or like really fake footprints alongside dinosaurs. Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't mean crocodiles have been around since then. Yeah, you had the Caposuchus and the Sarco. I can't remember the name of it. It's Sarco something dinosaur. Sarcosuchus. Sarcosuchus and the Caposuchus. They are like crocodilians, but they're not crocodiles. Yabba dabba doo. You said that earlier. That was great. I enjoyed that a lot. Yeah, Sterling. Yeah, I enjoyed that a lot, Sterling. Just I'll let you know that now. I enjoyed that. That's great.
From the records, it looks like humans interacted with these large.
Oh yeah, this is his scientific stuff, right? This is science right here. There's nothing more scientific. Yes, absolutely. Yes, this is science. Open any science textbook, and this is what you'll see. Absolutely.
It looks like humans interacted with these large.
Oh yeah, that's scientific. Yes, yeah, they interacted with them. Sure, sure.
Reptiles. In fact, we have records that talk about huge.
Yeah. Oh, that's a baby Brachiosaurus, I believe. Yeah. No, I totally buy. Who is Louis Lavoie? I mean, seriously. I'm really sorry, but just because you've got a painting someone made of someone hugging a brachiosaur doesn't mean that that actually happened. What is this?
Reptiles like dinosaurs living at the same time as humans. And
Oh, yeah, no, plow that ground. Yes. Yabba dabba. Like, this is the Flint. Is that Link? Is that Link? Is that 100% Link? Is he plowing or is he trying to put a saddle on the Triceratops? Look, I mean, I love dinosaur games. I love Ark. I think it's a brilliant game. You get to ride dinosaurs around. I love it. But let's not mistake fantasy for reality, people. Seriously. This guy is either A, using a Triceratops to plow a field, or Link wants to saddle up. Alternative archaeology. Well, it's paleontology. Alternative paleontology. Yeah, I get you, Imran. I get you. But what the hell? Like seriously, this is Link going for the Tyrannosaur. Oh, wow.
just a few hundred or thousands of years ago. Dinosaurs didn't all die out at one time in a huge event.
No, then what happened to them? What happened to them? This is the thing. Like, What happened to the dinosaurs? You said they didn't die out in one event. Then it wasn't the flood? Yeah, I love Ark, Top Tester. I love Ark. It's so good. So good.
Although the flood would have killed many of them. But instead, they gradually died off over time. The biblical explanation of dinosaurs living with humans and living through the flood on the ark matches perfectly the real scientific evidence much better.
Really? It matches the scientific evidence better. Okay, but how do you explain the fossil record? So as we go down in layers and we can tell which layers are part of which thing, we know that the meteorite hit the Earth because we've got a layer of iridium. Now, iridium isn't found naturally on Earth. It occurs in asteroids. So we've got this layer of iridium that shows where that asteroid actually hit the Earth, thrown up into the atmosphere. But you will never find a flying bird lower than the dinosaurs. Why? You will never find a sort of, a mammal lower than the dinosaurs. Why? Why is that? I don't understand. Why are they ordered in this sequence, which is predicted and necessitated in evolution, rather than just all mixed up by the flood? Why is that? They have no answer. It's called hydrological sorting in their worldview, and it's kind of, you really have to appeal to magic. It's absolutely ridiculous. As we go down, we don't even find dinosaurs anymore. We start to find very sort of basal creatures like, sort of horseshoe crab-like creatures. And, you go any further and further, and eventually you get to single-cell organisms. And that's all you find. And we never find anything out of order. Why not? If they all lived at the same time, shouldn't we find, like, the say the smaller dinosaurs, like compies, compy, I can't remember the name of it. Look, I only know the shortened names, all right? I'm not a dinosaur guy. Compsognathus, Compsognathus. That's a tiny chicken-sized dinosaur, but we find them below elephants. Why? Why is that? It can't be the density of their bones, because the compies much, like, density-wise, is much lighter. Why do we find that the elephants way above them every single time? No answer. They don't want to answer that. They just deny that the fossil record or the geologic column actually exists. They just go, no, it doesn't exist. Well, why do we never find modern animals at the same depth as dinosaurs? Why? No answer. So no, but it's amazing he can stand there and say, "Oh, the science says that the flood happened." And no, it doesn't. Absolutely not. It's just incredible that these people, like, I wouldn't try and claim scientific knowledge. I'm not a paleontologist. I would say, hey, go to paleontologists for that knowledge. This guy will just stand there and oh yeah. So Jin's talking about, somebody once asked that to Kent Hovind, sort of, why do we never find these? And he literally said, I'm not prepared for that. And I believe he said, well, I'll get back to you on it, and never did. He's never had a thing. I think Kent Hovind's last one was, well, all of the birds are at the top because they would have been the last to die in the flood. They would, that was ERVs? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he says it for a lot of stuff, Jen. He really does. Like, if you add it all up where he says, oh, well, I'm not prepared for that, or you'll find out after you get to heaven. That's another one of his dodges. You'll find out once you go to heaven, God will show you, so I don't have to answer it now. All of that kind of crap. But somebody sort of said, why do the birds always above the dinosaurs? Always. And he's like, oh, well, they would have been the last to die in the flood and then, fall. Oh, Beerus, he said it against me, mate. He said the same thing to me once. I'm not prepared to discuss that. The birds fell because they were flying around above the flood and they would have died last. It's like, what I want to ask him is, why are the pteranodons, who are flying creatures, always below the birds and with the dinosaurs, right? They're flying too. Absolutely, Sterling. You're 100% right. Everywhere on Earth, I've been told before, like a creationist once said to me, oh, well, there's no way to disprove evolution. And it's like, no, it's so easy to. If you can find where say a modern bird is below a dinosaur in the geologic column, you've just disproved evolution. 100% disproved it, right? Because that cannot happen. That absolutely cannot happen. But it's never happened once. They just don't want to deal with it.
Then the theories about dinosaur evolution and extinction by an asteroid impact millions of years ago.
Well, it wasn't so much the asteroid impact. I mean, we say, hey, the asteroid caused their extinction, but it's a chain of causality. It's asteroid impact, cooling of the Earth, ice age, and then it's not just, hey, the asteroid hit every dinosaur simultaneously. Does he really believe that's what we think? What a weird thing. Okay, so there is the but. Now, I want you to remember and really take note that he said the science is, we have the science kind of thing. It'll just make the next thing funnier. And yeah, I'm not stopping here. I'm going on. Even though I'm tired, I'm going on because you people are awesome. So this video, and I left this to last because this is the funniest one of all. Don't forget, Kyle Butt is scientific. He has the scientific knowledge to bring you all your scientific education, and he knows. He can talk about dinosaurs, about paleo studies. He's a scientific man. Okay, just remember that as we go through this one. This one is called The Only Cure for Sin. The only cure. No, you've had enough butt. You've had enough butt, left-handed Jedi. You've got to lay off the butt. All right. I know you like butt, but that's too much butt. The only cure for sin.
Suppose the world was dying of a serious, never-before-seen bacterial disease.
Okay, a bacterial disease. Did we all hear that?
Literally every person who had contracted the disease either already...
So, what's wrong with this picture? Can anyone tell me what's wrong with this picture? Anyone? Anyone tell me what's wrong with this picture? What's wrong here? Butt out, Luke. No one asked you. Yay, Beerius. +1 for Beerius. Well done. Yep, it's a virus. This is the man who wants to claim that he's got the science at Apologetics Press. That's not a bacteria. That's a virus. They're not the same thing, right? It's amazing. It's amazing. It's absolutely incredible. Also, no butt in the picture. You're right. You're right. What was this guy's name? I think I looked it up before. What we produce. Eric Lyons is this guy. It's the Kyle virus. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. That isn't Carl Butt, that's Eric Lyons, and Lyon is a real good name for this guy.
Contracted the disease, either already had died or was dying with seemingly no hope of recovery.
Oh, wow, this is a throwback to, like, 2020. Oh boy. Yeah.
Researchers were working around the clock for a cure, day after day, and
Well, you don't really cure viruses. You vaccinate against them. A lot of the stuff with these things, you're actually getting the body to cure it. Basically, you're getting the body to recognize it and for it to cure itself. That's the whole point of vaccines. Yeah, I think so. Look, and yeah, that's a virus. Yeah, it 100% is a virus, and he started calling it a bacteria. He doesn't. The man, biology does not affect this man. He is immune.
week after week, scientists were doing all they could to think of anything that might help fight the disease, but nothing worked.
Oh, so better pray for it, right? Better pray for it. Oh no, it gets funnier, guys. Like, seriously, this is the only reason I did this, because this is so funny.
These were some of the darkest days in the history of the world. Literally tens of millions of people were dying every week.
Tens of millions every week. I don't think the 2020 was that bad, but we took steps. Like, what was so frustrating about the pandemic in 2020 is that you had medical personnel saying, "Hey, this is what we can do to mitigate the spread. This is what we can do to mitigate the risk," and there were just people arguing with them. And religious people arguing with them, saying, "Hey, no, I'm protected because I'm special." Yeah, the disease doesn't care. The disease does not care if you think you're special. Black Plague? Yeah, but not tens of millions every day, Left-Handed Jedi. I don't think so.
Then one day, a researcher from India named Johann stumbled across a small sample of blood taken from an 8-year-old boy named Joshua. The blood sample was taken when Joshua previously had a routine checkup months earlier at the doctor's office. The scientists discovered that when a tiny drop of Joshua's blood came in contact with the bacteria in a petri dish, all of the bacteria died.
Yeah, Johann. So I think he's supposed to be John the Baptist, Rembrandt. I'll fill you in on it. Like, this is just bullshit. Basically, this is 100% bullshit. This story didn't happen. It doesn't happen. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. But it does get funnier.
Because of the dire situation, Johann quickly received permission to give an experimental dose of Joshua's blood to 7 extremely ill patients in a nearby hospital. Within minutes, all 7 were feeling better. In fact, tests only an hour later revealed that they were totally cured of the deadly disease.
Yeah, I don't know why he used Indian and not like Israeli. I don't know what that's about. It's a misdirect, maybe. I don't know. Like, why he didn't say Jewish or Israeli or something? I've got no idea. It's very strange. Oh, is that what we say? Yeah. Absolutely, bacteria can cause disease. Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. Bacterial disease is a thing. Yeah, but viruses are usually way worse, especially retroviruses. They're usually way worse just because viral stuff. Essentially, bacteria, we can use antibacterials to bring them under control, except if they're resistant to that. Oh, hello, Robin. How you doing?
As reports of Johann's findings spread quickly around the world, within hours, some of the most knowledgeable, powerful people on the planet descended upon Joshua's modest house to speak to his parents.
I'm sorry. So Elon Musk is outside going, "Give me your blood. Give me your blood." Well, he's taken everything else. I don't see why he can't have, why would they do that? Like, I don't understand. This is so weird.
The visitors told them what they had discovered. The only known thing in the world that could cure the deadly disease was Joshua's blood. The only thing that could save billions of people.
You're right. It does sound like the plot of I Am Legend. It does, yes. Yes. The point was, no, he doesn't know the difference. He doesn't. Well, I mean, this is Wish Butt. This is Temu version Butt. It's a lion.
People from death was Joshua, and the world needed every drop of the blood he had.
Wait, why does it need every drop of the blood he had? I am so confused over this statement. Like, it needs every drop he had. What? Why don't we just synthesize the cure? Like, we don't need to, like, for cures to disease, we don't need to drain all of somebody's blood and then we can synthesize proteins in order to what? I don't. This is so weird. He doesn't understand that, like, to give someone we don't literally take people's blood and then, like, ay. Such a cheap creationist that Bezos refuses. Yeah, absolutely. Like, but this whole thing, we need every drop of his blood. Why? I don't understand. Why? Just synthesize the proteins. Why? Yeah, exactly. Find the antigen and replicate it. Yeah. Well, we're a bit uncertain at the moment whether it's a bacteria or a virus, but I don't know why you'd need every drop of somebody's blood. Like, what is this? This analogy is terrible. That's not how things work.
Joshua knew how deadly the disease was. He had seen its effects on family and friends, and now he had overheard the conversation about the unique power of his blood that would save not only his parents, siblings, and extended family from the deadly disease that everyone was dying from, but potentially he could save the entire world.
Wait. So why couldn't he just give blood? You give the blood to somebody, they're now immune. Presumably their blood could do the same, because if you're immune, you're immune. I don't... This is so weird. This is somebody that doesn't understand how, like, bacteria or viruses work. Like, that blood isn't like an acid or something that burns away the bad stuff. This is so weird. This does not work in any way, shape, or form. It's actually hilarious. There you go. You got it. It's a really bad analogy for Jesus.
Joshua resolved in his mind to share his blood with everyone. Joshua's parents gave the distressing, heart-wrenching permission for the doctors to take their only son, Joshua, and extract his blood.
Well, okay. Let's unwrap it. Let's unwrap this, because the analogy doesn't work as is. Because the only reason that the Joshua, the kid, had to die was because his one parent insisted on it, and that one parent could easily cure everybody, except he wanted his son to sacrifice. Okay, it gets a bit ridiculous now. So his dad has the cure. He could just forgive everybody. But instead, he wants to sacrifice his son because he's not going to give you the cure without it. Yeah, that's kind of a monster. He could easily cure everybody, but decides not to, and that his son has to suffer for it. Okay.
All of it. An innocent child courageously and
Yeah, and Johann is John the Baptist, so John found, so he's just using John, Johann. It's pretty obvious, really.
willingly gave his life to save billions of people from certain death.
Yes, but his father has the cure and refuses to give it out without his son dying. It's kind of different, isn't it, when you put it like that? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, lion.
The Bible plainly teaches that there is none righteous, no, not one. For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. And since God is 100% pure, holy, and just, and cannot fellowship sin, the wages of sin is death.
Well, it looks like the wages of not sin is death as well. Like, yeah. I don't know. It's weird.
An eternal separation from God and all that is good. And there is nothing we can do on our own to remedy the situation. We are without strength to save ourselves from sin. Without Jesus, sin is incurable and all is hopeless.
What? It is a silly concept, Rembrandt. I totally agree. And, you know, this whole idea, it relies on convincing you that this thing is the cure to sin when you don't need a cure. You're going to make mistakes in your life. When you accept that and say, hey, all I can try to do is remedy the mistakes, it's fine. But they teach you to internalize, to basically go, well, I'm a bad person. Even though you're probably not a bad person. We just all make mistakes. That's the human position, you know, like that's the human condition, that we screw up and people are hurt and we apologize and we make amends and we move on. And you don't need Jesus for that. You just need to have empathy. That's all. It's really wild. You know, I don't, but they're trying to convince you that you making mistakes is a disease. It's something you're going to do because you are diseased. And you're not. You're just human. That's all. You're not diseased. You don't need a cure. You just have to be okay with making mistakes and trying your best. All you can do is try your best. That's all. And yeah, we're going to make mistakes. We try to be humble about it. We try to do our best to forgive and to you know, move on and apologize when we screw up and, you know, communicate with people how we feel and, you know, get on with your life. There's nothing sick or diseased about that. That's being human.
The good news is that the gift of God is eternal life in Christ Jesus our Lord. Jesus, the Lamb without blemish and without spot, was the perfectly pure sacrifice who took the punishment of our sin upon himself and died in our place.
Oh, how dare you, Luke. There's nothing worse than elbow sin. How dare you? How dare... Stop. You're a broken person, you have elbow sin. Yeah, this is the whole point. Like, you know, oh, wow, you had a lustful thought. Big fucking deal. That doesn't make you diseased. You're just human. Wow, big deal. It's weird. It's so weird. I don't understand it at all. Like it's how on our actions that we judge people, not on our thoughts. But this is that. Well, if you think a certain way, then you need Jesus. No, I really don't. I really don't.
While we were dead in trespasses and sins, God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. Christ died for our sins. God loved us and sent his Son as an atoning sacrifice for our sins.
And he's basically backing this up with some bullshit story that doesn't even make sense. Like, it doesn't even make sense. Your story doesn't make sense. Because there's no reason why to cure a disease we would have to drain some child of every single drop of blood. That makes no sense whatsoever. Like, why would we do that? Yeah, no, I hear you. It is the grift. And it kind of annoys me because they kind of try to get people to internalize their mistakes, to internalize it as they are flawed instead of you do things that are flawed. And it really annoys me.
God sent his Son that the world through him might be saved. The pure, powerful, sacrificial blood of Jesus was and is the only cure for the deadly sin problem.
Yeah, that's it. Deadly sin problem. What problem? What problem? The only people saying that is the Christians. There's no deadly sin problem out there. We have problems. And might I add that a lot of the problems are caused by Christians. They have incidents of criminality. I mean, just recently, a ex-advisor to Trump went to jail for talking a young person. Like,
Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me.
Did he? You've only got John's word for it. There's nothing. Jesus didn't write a book. How do you know he said that? We don't. We don't.
The Apostle Peter said, there is salvation in no one else, for there is no other name under heaven given among men by which we must be saved. The death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ is the power of God to.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. He's just preaching now. But this was a funny story because it just made no sense whatsoever. I get you. It's just
the
a
New
short
Testament
one.
book of Acts. See for yourself how lost sinners were saved by the grace of God.
Yeah, but it's funny that the countries with not a lot of religiosity are the ones that are actually doing pretty well, and the people are happy. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think there is something to that, and you might sort of point to other factors and things, sure, but it should have been written in first person. Well, that's assuming that God was writing it, maybe. Interesting. $8 billion zombies wandering around. Yeah, well, I mean, it seems like people that are Christian and people that are not die all the same. And if you want to say, hey, there's something afterwards, great, prove it. But that last one, I just found it hilarious that, and that's Apologetics Press, which obviously they have the Buttman as their leader, and he has these Timu versions coming after him. But it's just funny how they claim science and then get stuff so scientifically wrong. Like, oh, the asteroid hit the dinosaurs and that's what no. Like, they don't have the first understanding of it. But I think these apologists realize the weight that having scientific evidence behind them gives them. So they want the weight and the respectability of scientific evidence without actually going out and getting the scientific evidence. That's what they want to do. They just want to say, hey, we're the scientists. I'll put on my lab coat. I'll just pretend to be a scientist, and I'm going to talk as if I'm an authority on it. No, you're an apologist, not a scientist, and you don't even understand. You can't help but love. Well, that's my mission in life complete. Thanks, Berius. Cheers, mate. But that was Fundamentalist Fails. I'm sorry it was a bit of a shorter one, but yeah, I grabbed these last night, just insomnia and stuff. Don't forget, if you keep coming to try and increase the cost of our medicine, we will release the emus on you, and I will not hold back. I will send all the emus over there. Yeah, so yeah, so thank you for joining me. This has been a laugh. I always find but funny. This guy is hilarious. Just how much he doesn't understand about stuff is just hilarious. He's a real human. Yet to be confirmed. I'm sorry. Yet to be confirmed. Yet to be confirmed. But I should have some debates coming up next week. I'm really excited. I have a panel over on Raging Tomato. I have hopefully, if I think I'd see an email, James has probably changed the date, but I will be debating also Andrew Wilson, hopefully, which is going to be probably, how should I put this? I mean, he's always antagonistic. I'm not 100% on board. I do believe I've got Aimbot coming up next Wednesday. If you do want to join me for that, I would love to have you, and we'll be back on Friday. Oh, I should have a debate review too. on my Sunday. So yeah, drop by. I also am starting to do member-only streams. So if you want to join in on those, either have Left-Handed Jedi, who is an absolute star, hit you with a readership. I know that that's harder than it seems. Although Left-Handed Jedi is pretty damn good at hitting people I like. So yeah, well done, well done. Or you can join into be a member and sort of come along, and I will be playing Total War on the member stream and sort of just chatting and chilling and talking about movies and stuff like that. But it was a lot of fun last time. If you do want to join in, go for it. Enjoy. But thank you all for joining me. Don't forget to be kind to yourself. You're not diseased. There's nothing wrong with you. You have bad thoughts. Everybody does. That's the secret. Everybody does. It's how you act upon them that's important. That's the important thing, how you act and how you treat other people. You're not diseased. There's nothing wrong with you. You don't need a savior. You're just human. And we have these moments of weakness, these moments of error. We do these things. We are selfish occasionally. So having an idea of, hey, I've got a good side and a bad side, good side, dark side, and they can be in harmony. You can just relax into it. You don't have to be perfect all the time. Nobody is. But you don't need a savior because you're not perfect. That's ridiculous. Talk about over expectations. Oh, you have to be perfect or else you need Jesus. Come on now. Really? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. And as long as you are just trying to be a good person, that's enough. That's okay. The winner of the poll is Tapioca Weasel. Okay. Well, I should have seen that coming, but whatever. But yeah, if you haven't pushed like, please do. It really helps me out a lot. Do comment if you have any comments, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, everybody.
This old switchboard could talk. Wow. Your ears would sizzle. 1880. We take Alexander Graham Bell's invention for granted today. Perhaps we should. But isn't it incredible that millions and millions of people can talk simultaneously to practically any spot on Earth?